license, obviously. The kind of colouring and stuff, just to make it really, just try and, you know, I mean, you can sell sandwiches and it's not going to be very attractive, but if you create the brand and get the right customers and, you know, to maybe walk around with promotions and stuff and just bring in the feel for it.
What do you think is the unique concept? What's unique?
I think what's unique about it is it's very it kind of catches you off guard. Like, whenever I sold, I was telling people I was selling, they're like potato sandwiches, they're like, how comes no one's ever sold them before?
Yeah.
And everyone likes a potato sandwich, to be honest. Like,
and these
you know,
sandwiches,
they are. I have some samples if you want to try some.
But as a product, they're not what you call a healthy product.
I know, but at these events like the Goer races.
More the reason why they're
like at events like the Goer races, like people aren't really health conscious. Like, they're having their drink and they're not. They're eating chips anyways and burgers. They're not like necessarily. You know, it's one of the fun events.
Is there butter?
And there's butter all over.
What's the sort of shelf life?
When you make one, oh god, I'd say about half an hour, not even. So like, if
someone you practically in a mass audience environment produce enough potato sandwiches within 30 minutes.
Oh, you mean, no, they'd be produced to order. You'd have them buttered, and then you'd have, you know, at the cinema when there's like popcorn and stuff.
Yeah.
You'd have like you'd be like, oh, I want hunky dories, or you might want a mixer. I'll have the King's crisp potato, maybe chipsticks or something like that. Same idea as kind of chips, and you just literally put it in, cut it up or whatever if they might not want to cut it up. Put into maybe a little kind of neat kind of like paper bag, so like the American kind of style, and have like a little non-sticker for the kids. That's kind of the idea.
How do you think you would prevent somebody from copying you? So you go off to Oxygen in July and you have a really successful 3-day event or whatever, and then you show up the next place and there's somebody with a bigger, better potato sandwich.
I think I'd take the chance and maybe develop the nostalgic approach, get the right staff kind of, because I have, you know, all the apron ideas, just because that attracts the customer. Like, you know, and like I have an idea, it's like nom is kind of an association with really tasty food, and it's like kind of like, you know, the Boomtown Rat song, tell me why I don't like Mondays, I'll tell you why you like nom days. That idea came into my head because my mums relate, they're cousins, they're my mum's cousins, so I was trying to get them, maybe down the line, get them to produce something, but I don't know if that will happen. But maybe just have kind of catchy things like that, like have a nom day, or do you know, like nom and nom do do. There was another song, there was a few catchy ones, like just to try and differentiate from competitors, you know, because it is about the brand as well as much as it is about the product.
But effectively, you're in food retailing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, have you done anything in terms of, you know, the cost of the staff, the number of staff required, the volume of sandwiches to be sold on a given occasion to cover your costs and make profit?
I based one on the Goer races. I based it on 3 staff members working, and I based it on the price of $5.50. And in order to break even, $5.50. This is with a drink. No, sorry, this is based on a drink and a bet. That would be the highest markup now. But I based it €4.50, €3, you know, €3.50, $4.50, and to break even with say $5.50, you'd only need about 1,500 like people to turn over in the full week. And like there's 80,000 people going to the Goer races in a week. And like I was thinking, based on 5%, if you can get 5% of the customers, you'd break even.
Which are basic sandwiches, how much?
Well, if I was just selling one by itself, it would be about $2.50.
So $2.50 for 2 slices of bread and a
yeah. But it's because it's at the races, because like, you know, it's a high markup. Got advice from my solicitor, and they advised me on like just health and safety, making sure your staff, making sure there's like a few staff and one is overseeing the rest of them, so they know exactly, like, you know, in case there is any like damage.
Sure, but I mean things like the physical layout, where the sandwiches are made, the can't be cracks, the hygiene, etc.
I'm going to look into that. To be honest, I haven't done much on that now, but I'm going to look. I think you can do HACCP courses. Sorry, you can do those courses. So I'll look into
that. There will be regulations about preparation of fresh food in the environment in which you're preparing it.
The storing of your ingredients and all
that. It's very, very regulated.
Yeah.
So would you see yourself, if you take the Goer races, which you based your projections on here, The good news from my point of view is that I think your projections are nicely conservative for the Galway races. I happen to know somebody who was the coffee franchise up there, and he makes enough money on the Galway races for the entire year.
Well, I only based on 5% now.
Yeah, I know,
people,
so I
don't
think
know.
that's very reasonable.
Yeah.
And that's sensible to do that.
Yeah,
But are you trying to get inside the grounds
I actually am, yeah.
rather than have the caravan or the trail outside?
I suppose if I can't get inside the grounds, then I'll try outside the grounds.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
Where would you see it going beyond the stage, like you've identified, maybe you can get to go races this year and one or two other festival events. I suppose where would you see it progressing? Do you seem to have a whole load of great ideas there floating around in your head?
Yeah.
Or, you know, just have any vision on where it might go, or do you feel you just have to take this first step first?
I'd say take the first step first, to be honest, to kind of see exactly how many customers you need, and how many staff members you need, and what products you're gonna serve to the public and stuff. You know, you have to start. You can't start too big. Like, it depends on what exactly you have. Like, you know, you're limited. It's limited at the start.
Because you're going from event to event to event, and you know, at the end of the year you end up in the Christmas market or something. It's very difficult, you know, because you have to move to where the events are. You know. But
within Ireland, I don't think that's much of a barrier really, or a struggle. Yeah, at the festival, yes. Some of my friends have said if they go on a race, the same.
Pay for your festival.
Yeah, they'd be like, I'll work for free by getting every day.
Yeah. Okay.
It's hard work.
I know.
It is, yeah. And you plan to do this yourself? So
yeah.
This would be like your business. Your shelter stand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there a stage 2? I mean, as I was saying, you're going to do this with Pt.2, but you mentioned differentiation. Is there a phase 2 development in some other type of
I'm thinking of doing bacon and buddies. You know, bacon buddies, because the English really like that, and they'd be at the Galway races. Just keeping it simple enough, because I don't know what other foods really like maybe some ice creams out for dessert and stuff, cookies, 99. You know.
Yeah, you say that.
Yeah. I'm not really a food expert, so
I would say
that's the thing.
That's the worst thing you can do.
Yeah.
Any kind of a kitchen.
Being the devil's advocate again, if you managed to get into the Galway races and you were selling these potato sandwiches, what's to stop the caterers in the Galway races deciding, hey, we put these on as well, and they just slice your price in half?
Well, I think the Galway races is big enough to be able to cater for people that want. I mean, I have a fear of too many people wanting the product and not being able to produce enough, or being like, I could have got those customers, but they went elsewhere because there was too much of a queue. Yeah. So that's what I feel, judging by looking at the Volvo Ocean race when it was really busy, people are going to go to another queue. So I think it's there's room for other people as well to produce that product.
So it's more spontaneous.
Yeah, it's more like the novelty. I mean, they're not going to walk. They wouldn't walk far just to get it. If they can get the potato sandwich here, why would they walk over there? If they're over there getting a potato sandwich, fair enough, we'll get someone else. And we'll give them the extra bit of the €1 bet, that kind of sense, and just to, it feels good kind of factor.
I think the question that's actually been asked twice is there any way of protecting
you have copycats?
Because you have an idea.
How can you
have an idea, and like the way, say you get into MCD's oxygen, they usually, there's a portfolio of suppliers and each one does a different thing. Yeah. But if they see you doing it, would you mind the caterer just do it himself? You know, is there any way you can protect your idea? I don't know. That's a question I would ask.
Well, clearly you can't protect producing crisp sandwiches.
Yeah, is there anything you can do to, is there anything you can do?
No, because it's not like I've come up with. It's an open market.
Your point about branding, probably if you can in some way build a brand that isn't actually Pt.2, using Pt.2, and particularly I think if there's kind of some fund or some other element
I actually think I would talk to Ray. I would talk to your man Ray, and he should be your first investor. And he owns the brand. That's the way to protect your idea.
Yeah. Exactly.
My suggestion that would be a way to do it. Now that prohibits you from running with 3 or 4 different brands and a range of stuff.
Oh, okay.
However, he's developed his range of products as well. So it could be that you choose, if he
Based on
licenses you,
licenses.
and he's an investor, or he gets a percentage of everything you buy and actually everything you sell, then like if he's on 10% royalty of everything, then it's just like a franchise. That would be the way you get the name, and then he wouldn't give it to anybody else.
That's right. And you get the use of
So that's your trick. That's how I would do it.
Yeah. That's very good, I know.
And then the copycats will be Pringle.
Oh yeah. No, it doesn't have a ring to it, like.
Or else you go away altogether and rename it Saffron's Tasty Food.
Food.
Spicy. Saffron spicy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Spice.
But the holding company could be your non-foods idea, and then that could produce a range of other things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, it's not. It's definitely intriguing, and the sandwiches are very tasty.
And obviously Tato would have a vested interest in you pushing the Tato and
exactly.
different ways.
Because like he's just opened the park. The girl, I think he's trying to develop the brand to protect his base from like
Kings are
walkers
very
that come in the last 3 years and take a 50% Irish market.
Oh yeah, that's true, isn't it? Yeah.
So what he's doing now is he's trying to develop the brand of it, and the Tato, Mr. Tato, the book, the Tato Park. This is all to stop walkers just blowing him out of the market. So this would be another strategy for him. So I think he'd be mad to
until all the kings bring in their own Tato ranges and.
No, but I think you should show this because you're warning.
And it's very Irish.
Another Christmas cake.
This is very Irish.
The apron I did everything.
Yeah, the aprons are always.
Okay.
I have this picture. I got an artist to do it. It was kind of like my vision, and I just that would be like kind of what the Goya races would be like. Kind of
Very good, very good.
I won't take credit for it, but it was my idea.
Thanks very much.
Hi, my name is Cian.
And I'm Oisin.
And we're at westcoastsurfing.com. It's the Irish surfing website. I've been surfing for more than 10 years now, and I'm doing IT in college, so I have an awful lot of experience in both surfing and IT.
Surfing has also been a huge part of my life. I was previously sponsored. I'm currently doing science in NUI Galway, and I plan to move into the field of business with a master's after I graduate.
Just before I go further, all the photos that we have in our presentation are all of Irish surfers on Irish surfing, and they're all from our site, just so people get an idea of what we're dealing with. So first we spoke to Surf World in Bundoran. They're an established surf business. They've been open for more than 20 years, and we talked to them about what they felt the business potential was in surfing in Ireland, because they would have an awful lot of experience and insight. So they feel the potential for commercial growth in surfing is huge. Surfing is the fastest growing sport in the country, and their expertise and experience suggests that with the right marketing and all that there is definitely an awful lot of potential in Irish surfing. So the contents, we're just going to run through a brief timeline of the site, where we've come from, where we see ourselves now, and where we'd like to go. Some of our objectives, some numbers to do with the site and surfing in general, to give you an idea there. A quick look at our budget and an outlook to the future. So this is our timeline. So we see ourselves at the moment in phase 2, just towards the end of phase 2. So the initial thing, we were identifying a niche in the market. We both surfed and saw that there was this gap in the Irish surfing market. So then we spoke to surfers and to surf schools and surfers in Ireland, and got feedback from what they thought was missing and what could be filled in the Irish market and what they'd like to see a site like this achieve. And then using all this, we started the initial setup of the site, which was obviously the coding of the thing, getting it online. And now stage 2 we're becoming more known. We started getting our name out. We have small income coming in through advertising primarily at the moment. And now at the end of stage 2, we're looking to establish our own shop, which is a big concentration moving forward. Then moving into stage 3, event promotions we've already begun. We've an awful lot of event promotions lined up for the summer coming, and then into next year, some music festivals, surf competitions, stuff like that. In stage 3, we'd like to increase our income, largely through our shop and tourism, which we'll talk about a little later. Tourism potential realised would be a big thing we'd like to concentrate on. To grow our shop more and to begin sponsoring Irish surfers, because this is a huge part of surfing, is sponsoring surfers for businesses. But the ultimate goal then for us would be to have our vision realised, would be a strong reputation and image in both nationally and internationally. So we would be a strong surfing presence in Ireland and known internationally as the Irish hub. We'd like to be an influential support for Irish surfers, that we wouldn't just be feeding off Irish surfing, we'd actually be giving back, and we would be helping to promote Irish surfing and help it realise all the possible benefits from surfing, and that the following objectives will be achieved. So obviously our main objective is to create a profitable business that targets the needs of Irish surfers. That's the bottom line of West Coast Surfer. We provide up-to-date information on Irish surfing. That was the big starting point of the site. It was what was missing. There was no one place people could find information, see what was going on, see all that was happening in Irish surfing, and a lot of people didn't realise what was there. So that's what we did. We'd like to promote and capitalise on Irish surf tourism. It's a hugely underdeveloped area of Irish tourism, and it's massive. Like there's 41 surf schools in the country that we'll talk about later on. We'd like to develop our online shop to increase our income. This way we'd be self-sustainable, we'd make some money and help us realise our goals. We'd like to sponsor young Irish surfers, which is a number of benefits. One is nationally, professional surfing in Ireland is quite young still. So if we grow that further, if you're sponsoring surfers, local competitions are great for local tourism. We get international surfers coming over and they see Ireland, and it helps grow that. If you're sending surfers abroad, like a full team went to Peru there 2 weeks ago, it's good advertising for Irish surf tourism abroad. And from a business point of view, if you're sponsoring a surfer, as the Irish surf tourism and professional surfing industry grows, if you have a surfer that's heavily involved in that, your business is seen as, you know, to be growing with them, and you're a good promotion of Irish surfing. And similarly, on that point, we'd like to become an influential part of Irish surfing, like I mentioned earlier. We'd like to be seen as a landing platform or a starting platform for a lot of Irish surfers, and help them realise their surfing careers.
Okay guys, I'm going to talk to you a little bit about numbers. First of all, the Irish market is a vast market. There's 50,000 participants in the sport currently, and this is always growing. Surfing is the fastest growing sport in Ireland. If you look down, 24 million worldwide, and 2.4 million of these being from the USA. We've worked out an average startup cost for a beginner to be 690 euros, and then an annual expenditure of about 830 euros for an advanced surfer. So that's every year, okay? So yearly we've worked this market out to be just under 40 million. So even if 1% of the market bought off our site, that's still 400,000, which is a sizable amount, and it's easily grown. We are also in contact with 41 schools which are qualified and certified by the ISA, which is the Irish Surfing Association of Ireland. And in our first year of advertising, we project to bring in 8,400 euros just from this alone, and this will increasingly grow. So this graph here is a graph of our site visits. So at the 21st of September 2010, we had 1,000 visitors on a 2 weekly basis, and now currently we're up on 4,000. So this is like a quadrupling of our original viewership. So we continue to continue on with this growth. So in another 9 months' time, we should hopefully be having 16,000, and this will grow hopefully exponentially over the next 3, 4, 5 years.
A quick look at our budget. This was in our second submission, so we won't go too detailed into this, but in year one we're looking to spend 1,500 on sponsorship and 2,000 on marketing. Working with the mentors that we were assigned, we identified that the biggest thing that we need to do now is to make sure that we branch out to as many of the Irish surfers that are in Ireland to maximise our visitor base before spending money on other things. You know, we want to maximise how many people have heard of the site and all that. So working with our mentors, we identified that on-the-ground marketing would be the most effective way for us. So we want to assign €2,000 to marketing to get the name out, and also want to begin sponsorship of a surfer for the reasons I mentioned earlier on, to the value of 1,500. In year two, we'd like to continue that and slightly increase our marketing to ensure that we really get the name out there. And now it's becoming, you know, it's well stuck in people's minds, and it's that brand image that we're associated with. And now we'd like to invest €3,000 into our shop, which is established. That would allow us to buy in our own stock so we could increase our profit margin off the shop in year 2. Moving into year 3 then, we'd like to invest an awful lot more in our shop, with a lot of that being generated from the input we had in year 2. That would be €6,000 into the shop to try and really start creating profit from the site. Again, €2,000 marketing, and we'd like to up our sponsorship budget to bring in more surfers and start, realising that 4th stage of our timeline that we had earlier on, where we'd be promoting the surfers. And now look into the future. Initially, our source of income for myself and Oisín to keep this going would be from advertising and tourism. We'd like to put the shop money that we generate initially back into the site so that we can properly grow the shop and have the site with a good steady source of funds to keep it going. While we feel that the advertising and tourism would be more than sufficient to keep us moving. Then later on, when the shop has established itself well, then we will start to use that also. In the first quarter of year 4, we estimate that our initial 1,500 would be returned from the site, and that the running costs of the site, such as the marketing and sponsorship, and also all the hosting and IT side of costs, that they would all be well covered at that point by the shops or the sites running. So that's our initial thing. We'll just have the site there just so you can get a look.
Just a question for you around marketing. I mean, you were looking in your first 2 years there of making very significant investments in marketing.
Yeah.
What specific form do you see that taking?
Talking to the mentors and then some of the other businesses, marketing would take the form of stickers would be one thing. It's huge in surfing, just stickers, but they're reasonably cheap to produce. T-shirts would be another, and then we've gotten spots. Sea Sessions Music Festival have approached us to see if we'd come up and be at the festival because they've surfing competitions. So we're trying to get flags for the beach. They have big competitions, so an awful lot of surf companies like these flags and stuff like that. But an awful lot of that is quite expensive, and we're also looking at online marketing such as Facebook ads and Google AdSense just to make sure because Facebook is a huge source of traffic, so we want to make sure that we don't concentrate just on the ground marketing. We balance that out a bit. So some of our €500 went into both of those things as well.
Okay, so it's a mix of those where you're direct?
Primarily on the ground, because talking to people for a business of our type, I know we're a website, but you have to gear it at the surfing community, and on the ground marketing has proved an awful lot more beneficial for that. So being at events, sponsoring events, providing prizes for events, all that will come under our marketing kind of budget.
Very good. Thank you.
What in terms of the trading, what do you see yourself selling?
Initially, we're trying to minimise the conflict we have with potential shops who might be wanting to advertise on us. So we're sourcing local, like Irish-made products. So to start, we have surf clothing. We're looking at a company in Limerick who are setting up wetsuits. And then there's balance boards which are used for fitness, and then there's a surf photographer who would like to sell his surf photography on the site also. So there are primary first ones, and the businesses we've been talking to don't sell massively in the shops, so we're trying to avoid that conflict until we see how the shop goes, and if it's successful, then we'd like to branch out into boards and more of the essentials that surfers need.
So are there Irish surfing sites at the moment?
No, we're the primary surfing site. So our main competition was there were small blogs, personal blogs of people's surfing ventures, and we brought all those onto our site to eliminate that. Then the only other competition was online shops, but none of them were geared specifically at surfers. There is no one Irish site that does what we do.
So what about surf schools? Do they not merchandise at their sites?
No, the surf schools gear at their sites are generally just information on their school. People can book, mostly can't actually book the school through their websites. It's generally just so that if you're looking for a surf school in Lahinch, you might find them through that, but that's generally...
So is there a capacity for you to offer that service?
Yeah, in terms of, we talked about tourism there, that we'd like to benefit on that, and a big part of that was Oisín was saying about the 41 surf schools. So we'd like to bring them on and have a resource where all the schools be there, and you can contact them through us, because quickly will become the hub for our surfing, so you're most likely to find us.
So if you're first into the market with this, is there a value maybe, I'd imagine it's a fairly defined market in Ireland, I mean, there aren't too many surfers, relatively speaking.
Yeah, relatively.
Could you somehow offer some membership that gets people, engaged with you? That allows you then to market to the surf schools to say, listen, you can do the booking on our site because obviously we have a membership.
Yes.
I was wondering, is it possible to do
Yes, at the moment we have a membership registration system, basically because people to upload their own photos and videos is a huge part. We try to get people interacting because with sites, you get more returning visitors if they're putting input into it. So we have an actual registered database of users, so if we could bring them, we try and have a connected system basically where they get
take ownership of surfers in Ireland. The other thing you mentioned, competitions. Is it like in other sports that there's an entry fee and so forth?
Yeah.
I mean, could you, for example, be the portal for entries, online entries for all surf competitions?
It would be possible to create a registration system, for instance, where you can become recognised as a registration system.
I'm familiar with, for example, there's a website in the running world where literally every tulip race in the country now puts their race up on this site, and the website provider takes a percentage of the entry fee.
Okay,
it means that each little race committee has no administration, it's all happening online.
Yeah,
so I'm just thinking
that's
that,
good,
I suppose following on from what Keane was saying with the shop and our online information hub, we would also attract casual shoppers as opposed to people who are specifically typing in Google wetsuit board.
Yeah.
We're targeting also people who are looking at our site and by chance they see a 50% sale, 25% off booties, whatever, and they're going to jump on that right away. So we're not just looking at people specifically searching for goods, but we also attract that casual shopper. And sometimes, speaking from my own experience, that's where I spend a lot of my money.
Just finally, I suppose, obviously it's a beautiful site and the images are very, very powerful. I think it's just a matter of trying to identify where your revenue streams are coming from. I mean, you obviously have sponsorship, sponsorship advertising, possible trading, possible membership, possible entry fees.
Yeah.
Just wondering, are there a stream?
Yeah, the one additional point that we'd like on in terms of bringing income would be, Oshie mentioned that there's 2.4 million American surfers, and we can see obviously where all our visitors are from. So American, from the States, visitors make up a huge percentage of the traffic we get. So what we're trying to do now is if we can tie in with some of the surf schools and some of the accommodation in, say, Lahinch and Bundoran and that on articles that attract an awful lot of foreign surfers, that we would advertise then, say if you want to visit this area, you can click here and they'll be able to book a package deal. So that instead of them just coming on, getting a glimpse of Irish surfing, they'd actually be more inclined to visit them because it's simple for them to just price it all, order it there and then.
Have you spoken to Falls Ireland or Tourism Ireland?
Yeah.
What's the reaction?
They're encouraging of what we're doing and they're glad to see it. The problem with Falls Ireland at the moment is that they don't have a system set up. They won't put their name, say, to something unless they've quality assured it. And at the moment they've told us that they don't have a system to quality assure a website or a surfing business. They don't do that officially. But in terms of, they've been very positive and they weren't sort of hostile about it. They just said that they can't officially get involved in that yet, but that they'd be willing to sort of give feedback and opinions and things like that.
They see sports tourism as a huge growth area for them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's on their agenda.
So even on their ads, they're heavily focused on surfing.
Yeah.
So it is part of their agenda. So maybe they're just trying to get regularly bodies together, etc. Because Vodafone ads, AIB ads, Board Fulch, all these guys are if you have 4 activities in Ireland, surfing is almost guaranteed to be one of them on the ads, on the radio. Because they're geared to getting people to the west. And one of the major activities and amenities that the west has to offer is surfing and water sports.
And I think a big focus for us as well is a lot of people don't realise everything that's happening in Irish surfing. Surfing as a sport has a reputation for Hawaii and Australia and all these tropical warm water spots with these kind of waves that are amazing. But all the stuff that's happening abroad is happening in Ireland just with wetsuits, you know. You know, it's the exact same quality waves. We'd be considered some of the best waves in in Europe, and for big wave surfing, particularly in terms of